Welcome back. Well, we're in our final stages now of preparing our wine. As you can see, we've got beautifully clear wine. It's really come out an absolute treat. As I said earlier, we've siphoned it off the sediment back into the glass carboy, and it's now going to be ready for bottling. The one thing that I would say to people though is, if you can leave it in this glass carboy without touching it and let it mature, you will find that your wine will improve considerably. But obviously, for the purpose of today, I just wanted to show you how we actually do the bottling and the corking. So we're actually just going to take a tiny bit of wine off here. I'm not going to do the lot. I just want to be able to demonstrate to you what we're actually about. So all we need to do is siphon the wine using our siphon here, and I'm actually just going to, for this purpose, just going to siphon it into a jug. There she comes. Oh, maybe she's not. Right, here she comes into the jug. I'm just going to do a couple of small bottles for you so that you can actually see what it's all about. Some people use a bucket for actually Some people use a bucket with a tap fitted to it, and then they just put the bottles underneath the tap and go straight from that into bottles. All the bottles need to be sterilised and cleaned before they're used, obviously. You've got both size bottles, you've got half size, you've got full size bottles. So all we're going to do is we're just going to put some into this bottle from our jug. And we want to be filling just at the start of the neck with the actual wine. So that's superb for the little half size. And again. Similarly to the full size bottle. So we've now got the bottles and they're ready to be corked. So the first thing we've got to do, now that the wine is clear, I've siphoned it into one of the jugs, and I'm just going to put a little bit in the glass. As you can see from that, lovely and lovely clear wine. It's got a great nose as well, and obviously the brewer's perk is to try it before we actually bottle it. That's excellent, absolutely superb. A little strawy taste to it. Yeah, great. So, we don't need to sweeten it. If you find that the wine is too dry at this stage, for your palate, then obviously you can add some sugar to it, you can add some grape juice to it, anything to sweeten it. We've added the stabiliser, so you're not going to get a secondary fermentation taking place. So, if you need to sweeten it, now's the time to do it. If not, let's get it bottled. So we'll now just work out our bottling. Okay, so when we come to bottle, really the simple part, a little bit labour intensive, but at the end of the day, it does the job. The corks that we use, these ones have all got a silicone finish to them, so they don't need soaking. In the olden days, corks were always soaked, either overnight or in a little bit of sterilising solution before they went into the bottles. Today, they've got this silicone coating, so it's not necessary. In fact, if you do soak them, it's going to make it worse, because it whips the coating off. So what I tend to do, just run it under water, just to get rid of any dust that might have formed on it. And then, I've brought two corking machines today. This is the Ferrari twin-handled corker. I think probably the best on the market. The cork just simply sits in there. And as you can see, this spigot is now pushing the cork down. So we sit the cork on top of the bottle. The sides here are gripped around the top of the bottle. And we simply press it with both hands. Whoa! Cork inserted, all sorted. If we can afford it and we're doing enough wine, one of the things that I really like to use is this little piece. This is the floor corker. Cork goes in, the top there, there's an adjustable platform which is spring mounted, and that sits on there like that, the bottle in place, and all we do is we pull the handle down. As the handle starts, that now locks in place so it's not going to slip, and we just press that down and off she comes. Cork in, all sorted. Again, keeps life very easy and simple. I think it's a great piece of kit, but to be fair, you're looking sort of a reasonable cost for this, so you do need to be doing a reasonable quantity. But that shows you two pieces of equipment that we can use for bottling. It is worth spending money on it, because at the end of the day you do get what you pay for. With this particular one, sometimes you'll find that the cork will sit up above the top, and there is a screw adjustment here just to adjust the height of the insertion of the cork. Once we've corked the wine, what we must do is we must leave the bottles of wine standing upright for 3 days. What's happening now is the air will come out of the corks and out of the bottle because we've compressed it by putting the cork in. So we need to leave them upright for 3 days. After the 3 days, we can then put our shrink top on. Shrink top literally just goes on top of the bottle. We hold it and rotate it in the steam of a kettle. So as we rotate it in the steam of the kettle, the shrink will shrink down. And I brought a few bottles of wine here which demonstrate how they look once they've had a label put on. The shrink is now nicely gripping, but you've got all sorts of different colours and styles of labels that we can use for our wine. It does give it the professional touch, and I think it's well worth the investment. When you open a bottle that's nicely presented, somehow it always tastes better before you even actually get to the drinking stage. So, I hope you've enjoyed our session on winemaking. It's very simple to do, it's a lot of fun, and obviously you're saving a lot of money by making your own wine. The equipment is not expensive, it's not silly money, but you do get what you pay for. So have a good look round and make sure that you're not just going for the cheapest option, because it won't save you money in the long run. As far as the quality of the kits, again, as a general rule, you get what you pay for. The more you spend on a kit, the better the quality of the wine will be at the end. I would hasten to add though, that if you are spending good money on the quality kits, then you really must leave them to mature. It's a false economy buying an expensive kit if you're going to drink it very quickly. You really ought to use one of the quicker kits if that's the case. What we try and say to people is get a bit of stock on, use a few of the cheaper kits which are fairly quick to make, so you've got a bit of stock. Once you've got a bit of stock, you can then start to put some quality wines down, and then you've got the time to let them mature. So thanks for joining us today, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you've got any queries or any problems, obviously richard@wineworks.co.uk is my email address, or alternatively you can get us on the telephone. So thanks for your time.